Welcome back to another episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes in the sports industry. So why taking care of business, let us fuss out the details and fill you in on what's happening. Take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today, guys, we're finally going to be doing a World Cup podcast. I've been wanting to do one, been a little busy with stuff, and I also wanted to let stuff kind of develop in the World Cup, and we're almost a week in, and boy, do we have a lot. First thing I want to talk about, we have to talk about this USA team. I'm going to overreact a little bit here. Is this not the best USA team ever? I mean, 2002, they were a really good squad, but 4-1 in the opener, and it's not just Christian Pulisic show. You have McKinney, you have guys like Balogun, who's scoring a lot for this USA team. They don't just rely on Christian Pulisic to start everything. They can play through the back. They can develop and play a full game through the back, start an offense in the back, and get it all the way up to the front and be able to score and capitalize on the goals. And we saw them do that against Paraguay. And this next match could decide if they're a higher seed in the next round. If you beat Australia and don't overlook them like Turkey did, we're at the top of the group no matter what. And if they can beat Turkey, this team's scary. I feel like they're not getting talked about because of how stacked this tournament's loaded with talent. In case you guys haven't realized, right? Senegal is good. I know Spain just beat them 3-1, but Senegal is good, right? Canada, even though they drew with Bosnia, still a very, very legit team. This whole tournament, there are teams all over, and I feel like USA is kind of one of those teams that it's just, they're the host nation, but they're not getting the attention that I feel like they fully deserve. And I think they could make it. I think they can go to the quarterfinals. I really do. And I think if they get lucky and they don't play one of these top teams like Spain, but I have more on Spain to come in this podcast, but if they don't play a team like Spain, I could see this team being dangerous. And then another reason why I really am a fan of this new formula and format that they have with the World Cup is the 48-team format. It is working, and it's working to it is. I don't know how to describe it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You're seeing these teams that wouldn't be in a regular, previous World Cup tournament. Cape Verde would not be in this situation if it wasn't for the expanded teams. And you get so many more. Like, the reason why people love March Madness, college tournaments, all of these big tournaments is because the chance of an upset. And we saw that in Cape Verde versus Spain. Now, you might be like, John, Cape Verde didn't win. Yeah, but they drew with probably a top 3 team in the world. In the world, they drew with a top 3 team. Their population is 600,000 people, and they drew with a team like Spain. Scotland is at top of Group C. Morocco drew with, so many great things happen when you have an expanded tournament, right? People love March Madness. They love the upsets. You saw that with Cape Verde and Spain, and that's one of the points that I really want to hammer home is the Cinderellas in this tournament. And I think I talked about it with Scotland, right? I know it's Haiti, so you can take it with a grain of salt. But through one game through Group C, everyone has played at least a match. They're in first place in Group C. Now, yes, they haven't played the 2 toughest teams, Morocco and Brazil, and obviously that'll be a test for them. But who says that they cannot win Group C? They already have 3 points. They're already almost halfway there. They need a draw and two draws, and that'll get them advancing. A draw and a loss, you're fighting with fire. You can't lose 2 out of the 2, but ahead of Brazil and Morocco, no one was thinking that was going to happen after the first match day, I think, between Scotland and in Group C, and I think they could they could make a run. Another team that I really am really high, and I've talked about it a lot in this podcast alone. Cape Verde is, I think, the story of the tournament. No matter what happens the rest of the tournament, I think this team is going to be the story of the tournament, how they were able to draw, kind of how like when Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. It's very similar to that, I feel like, but obviously not in 2022 and 2026. It's very similar to that. It's getting more attention to the world's already biggest tournament in the world. It is. They have a chance. Cape Verde has a chance to advance out of the group stage. If I told you that going into this tournament, you would have thought I'm crazy. They have a legitimate shot because of that draw to advance to the next round. And then I could see them go to the round of 16 and then maybe to the quarters. You never know. A lot of it is just luck of the draw, and they got a really hard draw with Spain in the first game, but that's probably one of the hardest teams you're going to see in this entire tournament. So if you're Cape Verde, how do you not have, right, another sort of confidence in your team that you can compete with anyone and anybody at any given time? And I think that shows how good Cape Verde is. But I also think if you're a Spain fan on the flip side, you got to be a little worried. I know obviously you didn't have Yamal, you put him in late, but still, if you put Yamal in, right, Yamal is dealing with some injuries. We understand that, but if you're putting him in, that's a desperation move. That's you feel you got to win this game. So now if I'm a Spain fan, I'm worried. We couldn't capitalize on the opportunities that we had. We couldn't capitalize. We could not take advantage of them. We couldn't score when we needed to. Can you guys do that and still be able to make it out of the group stage? That's the really interesting topic for me is, can they be able to maintain playing like that and go to the next stage? Because you saw France do that for the first half today against Senegal, and then the second half was Kylian Mbappe happened. The actual French team showed up in the second half, and they were able to win 3-1. Mbappe had 2 goals. But can Spain do that with Yamal dealing with some injuries? Will they be able to, have some success without Yamal on the field? Do they need Yamal on the field to take advantages? And I know they had a lot of opportunities. They had a lot of shots on goal, but you still didn't capitalize. And if you're Spain, one of the top 3 teams in the country, the expectation is that you capitalize at least one of those, and you weren't able to capitalize. And it's not like you were playing a France or an Argentina or an England. You're playing a small team, small country, and you drew with them. So now are you going to let this draw affect you? That was the whole storyline with Argentina when they lost to Saudi Arabia and Qatar in 2022. How are you going to let this affect how they play for the rest of the tournament? I'm really interested to see how they're going to bounce back. Will they be back to the contenders in the tournament, or will they let this sort of fade, take advantage of them? And I think, talking about USA and Scotland and Cape Verde, some teams that have been surprising, I think the most surprising team has to be USA, because not only, right, Scotland beat Haiti, Cape Verde drew with Spain, USA beat the living crap out of Paraguay. No one expected that. No one expected USA to win, or maybe not to win in that fashion. They scored 4 goals. That's the most goals they've ever scored in a World Cup match. I think this USA team could make it to the quarterfinals, if not more. And like I said, I think Scotland could win their group, and I could see Spain. Now, obviously, a lot needs to happen. I think Spain and Cape Verde could be the top 2 teams in their group. I really do. I think, especially with how both those teams played the other day, in what world are you being told those 2 teams can't advance to the next round? But, guys, that's all I have for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode with John, New Day Sports Sump, where I talked about the World Cup and the exciting first week that we have been able to live through. And, guys, I'm going to get more World Cup stuff out. This is one of my favorite. I love international soccer. I'm not a huge Premier League or MLS guy, so obviously my soccer knowledge isn't to the highest, but international soccer is easily one of my favorite things to watch in the world. I love watching the Euros. I love watching the World Cup, so I'm going to hammer home on some World Cup content. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, sports updates and hot takes in real time. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports hub. We'll drop a deuce of freshly gathered sports knowledge. Until then, keep game face on and stay regular. This is The John.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.